What is going on, guys? Your boy Jabba180. As you can see behind me, it is raining. I'm actually recording this on a Saturday because today was the MotoGP Grand Prix of Assen, or as I like to call it, the Dutch TT. So, yeah, before I start going on about the race, I'm going to talk about qualifying. And I'm not going to talk about practice because nothing much really happened. I didn't really watch the practice, so I'm going to move on to qualifying. So, qualifying was pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Threats of rain was emerging onto the Assen track, so a lot of riders had to go out early to get their banker laps, and but in the end, it really didn't make a big threat. To be honest, it didn't really make much difference throughout the Q1 session. So it was just all systems as usual, and. Cal Crutchlow struggling with his bike throughout practice, but managed to whip up a fantastic lap, which got himself into the Q2 session along with Bautista, who called it after halfway through Q2, after setting a really blinding lap in really mixed conditions at Assen. And then into Q2, that's when the rain really started to make a big threat into the Assen track, as a lot of riders at the start had to really go as early as they can to try and set their banker laps. And in the end, it was Aleix Espargaro who got the best out of it by taking the fastest lap in the session to become pole position for the first time in the season, and to become the first open bike to get a pole position ever. I mean, a fantastic pole by Aleix Espargaro. Fantastic to see, an open class bike really getting up and really showing the factory bikes that they have got speed, because these open class bikes are very good in the corners. They look like they're very good, even though they get mugged on the straight. They're really good in the corners, and the factory bikes not very good in the corners. So yeah, you expect the open wheel bikes, and also they've got a tire advantage, as they're running the softs, whilst the factory bikes of Honda and Yamaha, I believe, are running the mediums and the hards and whatnot. So yeah, that also played a little bit into Aleix's advantage as well there. So yeah, great pole position, a very historic pole indeed. So yeah, folks, and then into the race. Oh boy, was it exciting! Oh boy. The race got delayed a little bit because of the mixed conditions out at the Assen track, but in the end, the riders went out for 2 cycling laps to really change their setups, really change their tyres, But I think most people went with the full wet. Some people went with the dry slicks tyres, but in the end, that didn't work out for them. They dropped massively down the order there. So yeah, in the start of the race, it was a really good start, but not as good as Marc Marquez, but not as good as well from Dovizioso, who made a blind on the start, getting into the lead of the race. A good manoeuvre there for him there. A lot of riders really jostling for position there. And then also Valentino Rossi at the start as well. He made a really late call to switch to the full wet tyres, as he was on the slick tyres. And same for Bautista. Bautista had to start from the back as well there. So really late calls. Really showing, that the track conditions are very difficult for these riders, both physically and mentally. So yeah. And then further on during the race, the rain sort of began to stop a little bit. So by about lap 6, lap 7, a lot of the riders changed their bikes onto the slick bike, and the loser, I believe, no. The winner, I think the winner and all that was Brock Parks. Brock Parks in the PBM Motorsports bike there managed to really get himself right up there into 7th place. Another man who made gains was Oriyama, who made like 6 positions in like I think first 6 laps and whatnot. Really good for him there. But then unfortunately he drops back throughout the latter stages of the race there. So yeah, good ride, but just overall pace not good enough to match the factory Yamahas and Hondas. And then after the pit stops, Marquez made a big error, ran wide and allowed Dovizioso to retake the lead of the Grand Prix. Marc Marquez did get ahead of Dovizioso at one point, but then like I said, Marc Marquez did run wide and allowed Dovizioso to retake it back. And then we had a good battle as well, a lot of good battling as well throughout. That was Crowd Crutcho, Batista, and Brock Parks and Rossi really having a good battle with each other, really fighting tooth and nail for the lower parts of the top 10 there. And unfortunately, Brock Parks couldn't do any dents into their battle as he dropped back to 11th there at the end. So unfortunate, but really good ride from Brock Parks there. Really, I know it was in wet conditions, but to keep with the factory with the sub factory the sub and factory bikes in a couple of laps was truly superb. And good ride from Brock Parks there. And then later on we saw another decent battle, and that was Danny Pedrosa and Elish Espargaro battling out for 3rd place. Both of them really battling tooth and nail for it as they were trying to get into the last place of the podium there. And there were nice good moves. No, not too aggressive. No wheel banging. Nothing too silly from both of them. Really good battling between both of them. And and then at the final couple of laps we saw. Another thing as well. Rossi did get ahead of all of that little pack there to get himself up into 5th place. But in the end, it wasn't. He would go no further as he would finish in 5th place there. A good result for Rossi there, especially as he made that really late judgment call to go on the wet tyres, which stopped him right to the back of the grid there. So again, really good ride from him there. And then in the last couple of laps as well, Bradley Smith did close a little bit up to the back of Batista there, but unfortunately Batista beat him to get 7th place. So good ride from Batista there. And even though his bike really loose, really struggling in terms of his stableness. Even though he had trouble with stableness, he still was able to keep hold of Bradley Smith for 7th place there. So good ride from him there. And then in the end, as he did his little swimming sort of backstroke little move there, Marc Marquez took victory, his 8th victory. I think he matches Agostini, who did it like the 70s or whatnot, 80s or whatnot, for 8 in a row victories. I mean, that's fantastic from him there. I mean, what a talent we are witnessing. We're probably seeing sort of Ayrton Senna or Michael Schumacher or a Michael Johnston or Jimmy Johnston. I mean, I think we're pretty much seeing the emergence of a true, unbelievable legend of MotoGP. I mean, this kid has got a serious amount of talent, and he's got a serious amount of success with him. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, to do all of that success, to break all the records in that short time, it's just ridiculous, and I can't believe, you know, he did that, you know. So yeah, big congrats for him for achieving all those records, especially now with his 8th in a row victory. I mean, this guy cannot be. So I can't believe, I can't see anything stopping Marc Marquez. I mean, he is truly untouchable in every single race that we've gone to. So yeah, a fantastic feat that he has created this season. So yeah, folks, thank you very, very much for watching. It's your boy Jabba Boy when it 8 here. I'm out. Peace.